Welcome, everyone, to the second great debate. If you've watched the preview, which I would recommend you do before watching this vid, today we're getting into the 2021 Ballon d'Or. And as you can see, we've got some picks behind us to be talking about today. Now, lads, let's just recap what we determined from the preview. So me and Matt got together and we determined a list of finalists that we think should be in this. Matt, who'd we pick?
Yeah, so we'll start off with, if you guys haven't seen it, there was a figure created by Goal, a Facebook page, and they had 7 favorites listed. So that was Erling Haaland, Robert Lewandowski, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe, Jorginho, the Italian stallion, and Karim Benzema. So me and Jackson in that preview have made our own alterations to that list, and we had 2 honourable mentions as well. So we have Erling Haaland still on the list as a favourite, Robert Lewandowski still there, Lionel Messi still there. We've replaced Kylian Mbappe with Jean-Louis Donnarumma. We still kept Jorginho in there. We replaced Karim Benzema with Leonardo Bonucci. And we are sort of tossing up between Cristiano Ronaldo, whether we should keep him in there or should we vacate his spot for another player. As well as these guys, we also had 2 honourable mentions to Chelsea boys, N'Golo Kante and Mason Mount.
I want to throw in one more and just throw in Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Reasonable. I've sort of come around to that being more fair.
It makes more. The more you look at it, and the more you look at stats, it makes way more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to throw in a goalkeeper, but
no. We're done with that, Matt.
No, don't even have to mention the name.
Edward.
No.
You're done.
You're done.
Second best goalkeeper this year.
Anthony, by the look of your background, you're really dependent on us keeping Ronaldo in this list. Let's start with thinking about. So we had those honourable mentions, which were both Chelsea players. That could be players who sort of found their way into the Ballon d'Or based off their performances in the Premier League and the Champions League.
That's correct.
I think I think I was a bit more harsh on Ronaldo in that preview vid, especially because Mason Mount was an honourable mention. He's nowhere near Ronaldo, so he's not there. Kante, however, with multiple Man of the Match awards in Champions League knockout stages, it has to be considered a very high achievement that he was pivotal to that team, winning that trophy.
It's not.
I don't know, man.
It's not very often you see guys like that, especially his injuries throughout the year, and then coming back and playing Champions League. It's not very often you see a guy win Man of the Match in every single knockout stage. Of the Champions League and win the Champions League as well.
Yeah, I'd almost say the best thing would have been if this was just about the Champions League, like player of the season for the Champions League, it should have gone to Kante for me, based off that. But like maybe not the Ballon d'Or. I think everything else there's other things to consider that maybe put Kante down. So
is that background better?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is easy. He switched midway through the video.
Yeah, you see, this is caught on video, guys. You see the loyalty to Manchester United. What?
You just ditched him, threw him out. Well, let's get into it because I think if we keep Ronaldo, then we've got the lineup. We're not going to bring in the honourable mentions, although we put respect on their names. I think we go with the 7 we've got, and I think Anthony's the one who has to start because he's the only one who's got a goal scorer as his Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah. My player doesn't sky penalties in crucial World Cup qualifying matches, ain't it?
Mine saves penalties though.
Yours saves them. That just doesn't score them.
Mate, my player won the Euros and the UEFA Champions League, so
clearly not by the grace.
Oh God, I want to hear the case for Lua because I respect him.
Okay, so if you look at Lewandowski as a whole, right? Crazy stats, just probably the best player in the world over the last 2 seasons, I would say. Like holistically, if you would take last 2 seasons, there's nobody that tops him. I mean, if I'm bringing up specific points, I mean, domestic treble, Bundesliga, Club World Cup, not domestic treble, but he won a treble. DFL Super Cup, Bundesliga and Club World Cup. That's pretty impressive. So 3 trophies. And if you look at since the start of last season, I mean, let me rattle off some numbers, right? 59 goals, 11 assists, top scorer in the Bundesliga, top scorer in Europe, Club World Cup Golden Ball. He also, it's worth mentioning, broke Muller's scoring record for the Bundesliga, which is and for Bayern, which is no mean feat, right? Probably, and if you look at Jorginho, right, Lewandowski's probably more consistent than Jorginho is. Whereas if you have Lewandowski on the pitch every week, he's probably going to score. It's pretty rare. He's one of those players where it's pretty rare if you would put money on him to score that you'd lose your money, right? Whereas Jorginho, some weeks at Chelsea, you don't even know if he's going to play. Which
I don't know. I don't know about that.
He's not the first player on the team sheet, that's for sure.
He might not be the first player on the team sheet, but he's the first midfielder on the team sheet. He has a key role playing that Magista position in two.
I don't know.
He does.
I don't know, man. Let me finish on Lewandowski, right?
Yeah, go.
He's just, if you look at his games, he doesn't score under 40 goals a season. He doesn't score under 40 goals a season, which is nuts. I mean, if we're going to keep going, this season already, 13 goals in 11 matches. It's 1.28 per 90, 70 minutes per goal. Scored in the first Bundesliga game or appearance for Bayern for the past, 7 years, I think now. Highest goal scoring percentage, as I said, or rate. And he just broke records upon records upon records. It's hard unless you look at someone like Messi. He broke probably the most records I've ever seen somebody just break in a year.
Most attacking records.
Yeah. And I mean, and he's doing it year in, year out at over 30, 32 or whatever he is now. So he's probably one of the most consistent players in the world, if not probably the best. And he should have won it in 2020, got cancelled, which is ridiculous. He still should have won it. And I think you said he might be getting some kind of recognition.
Yeah, from what I heard, he could be getting some type of.
He deserves it both for both. He deserves it for both.
Yeah. Well,
great. He didn't win the Euros. He didn't win the Euros. He didn't win the Champions League. But you've just got to take a look. You've got to take one step back from that. Because remember, Messi and Ronaldo weren't winning the Champions League and the Euros or the World Cup every single year. They were winning it either. But they were still scoring a bucket of goals. Even if you take the goals out of it, because I know Jackson, you might bring up an attacking bias. Even if you take it out of that, right, it's the consistency at which they do it. It's not just that they're scoring goals; that they're consistently keeping up those numbers. So it's like if Jorginho had a penalty every single game, would he score that penalty every single game at the same rate that Lewandowski would just score a goal?
Most likely.
Instantly there though, that's the problem.
If
you care about goals, you've already failed.
Donnarumma.
That's why this is such an attacking bias. You have to talk about Donnarumma keeping clean sheets or saving goals.
Okay, is Donnarumma keeping a clean sheet every single week, or it's consistency? You got to go on a consistency basis, and I mean,
only conceded 3 goals for Italy.
Yeah, they were on the. And
it's only a finite amount of games. You got to look at the league as well. It's not just
he was the goalkeeper when Italy went on a 37 game unbeaten streak, which most of the time
that was over multiple years.
But most of the time they kept a clean sheet.
A lot of that was in 2021. I get that's true,
but it's not just international football.
No,
it's not.
Football.
No, it's not.
But the argument can be made that you're talking about Robert Lewandowski. Yeah, he's consistent, but you're talking about him being consistent in a domestic scene. You're not talking about him being consistent
he's pretty consistent.
International team.
Pretty consistent. He's got 14 goals.
Look, he's pretty consistent in there, but I know he's playing for a team that doesn't really have that many star players, but.
No, and he's still bagging in goals for fun.
Let me. You've stated some stats, Anthony, and first before I kick off, I just want to say you've talked about Jorginho not getting many minutes, but in the Champions League, he had the second most minutes played of all midfielders. He was playing all the time. He was playing all the time in these competitions, and he was always in that Italy squad. Chelsea, the Kante situation makes it difficult. But I'm not going to dig at someone for having to trade minutes with Kante.
Yeah,
that seems a bit ridiculous.
But to what Matt said in terms of internationally, I mean, Lewandowski played 10 times for Poland, 8 goals, 2 assists, so he's still bagging him.
Oh yeah, great goals.
It's not like he's producing the goals for a side that isn't assisting him.
But let's say this: we speak of consistency. Okay, let's talk about Jorginho's consistency as the best midfielder of 2021. Euro 2020, he ranked first for interceptions. He ranked first for ball recoveries by a midfielder. He had the most passes completed by any midfielder in the competition. He had the most distance recovered. He had the most minutes played of any player. Time in possession by a midfielder, he ranked number 1 as well. And he was number 1 as progressive carries.
Yep.
That's just the Euros. He is also ranked first for interceptions in the Champions League. He's also ranked incredibly highly in the Premier League for his interceptions. Every single competition he was in this season, he was consistently an incredible player who was necessary for moving the ball forward. I mean, this is why he's rough, because he's not a super defensive midfielder like Kante. That's probably not his job. People sort of, he's a balance between the two, and people don't recognize that he's probably one of the most important players there. He doesn't necessarily run into the box late, but he's the kind of player who makes the connection. Without him, nothing feeds into the attack.
Like I said before, Jackson, he's pivotal in that Magista position, especially in Chelsea. But he also has a pivotal role in the Italian team as well. I mean, you mentioned stats in the Premier League. I'm looking at his all-time stats at the moment. He's only ever all-time had 1 error leading to a goal in the Premier League.
Yeah,
that's and then you look at him, 168 recoveries. He's won 120 duels. Aerial battles won. He's won about 20, and he's not the tallest person on the pitch.
So Jackson.
Yeah.
If somebody was to say you can only pick one, current form, Jorginho or KDB, you're saying
I picked Jorginho in an absolute heartbeat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Current form, Jorginho.
Well, over the course of this Ballon d'Or year.
Where's the video? Insert the video of that person from the TikTok with the credit card. I'm taking Jorginho. I'm taking Jorginho.
KDB plays a different role from Jorginho.
A different role, I guess.
But for me, in his role, Jorginho is more consistent and more critical than Kevin De Bruyne is for Man City.
I think you're forgetting about Fred, mate.
No, the importance of Jorginho is showed by how bad Manchester United are with Fred McTominay. They lack someone like Jorginho who connects the defense and attack. You guys basically play like you don't have a midfield.
You've even said on the podcast, Anthony, you'd rather the Nemanja Matic play instead of Fred.
Yeah, because this is different. This is a different conversation.
It's slightly different.
McTominay being deployed as defensive.
But if you had Jorginho in that midfield, it would be incredible.
But you don't. So
if you had Jorginho in that midfield, it would be incredible. And Man City would be. There's a reason Guardiola went for Jorginho before Chelsea got.
He did. And
Chelsea sniped that signing from Man City because Guardiola knows how critical Jorginho's role is, especially when you're pass heavy.
I think he's a great player. I'm not debating it. There's a reason he's nominated for the Ballon d'Or. I'm just thinking about Lewandowski. What
we're saying is in response to you asking us if we'd pick him over or KDB. And we're both
absolutely.
That. I don't have a good answer for that. I was just curious.
That's no dig against KDB. That's no dig against KDB.
I think KDB is probably the most well-rounded midfielder in the world. But
but there's a difference between calendar year form and
he was probably
the kind of player I think Kevin De Bruyne is.
He was probably the most rounded midfielder in the world, like you're referring to him maybe about a year and a half ago.
I'd still put him up there now, man.
I don't think this is a different discussion. It's a different discussion.
I think we should move on to it, but I think injuries have come into play. I'm just saying the way that United structure their midfield as well, because they have an abundance of midfielders. So.
Yeah, to be fair, Jorginho's not great for counter-attacking football, so it's not probably not the setup for him as long as they have Solskjaer. But the problem is, the amount of news articles I see, like the stats are there. It's obvious that Jorginho was pivotal.
Pivotal.
Essential.
Talk about Matt having
for Chelsea in all competitions,
Yep.
and Italy in the national team, at the national level.
I've just got his appearances up. 43 appearances for Chelsea, 10 for Italy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always appearing. There's no doubt about that. The minutes played speak for themselves.
Whether it be off the bench or he gets subbed.
Usually he'd be taken off.
Usually he starts. Yeah. He starts. He plays pretty much all the games.
Why do these stats not carry the same respect? That's the problem. It's a problem that people just say out of hand he shouldn't get this. This is despite both Tuchel at Chelsea and Mancini at Italy have both pointed to Jorginho as the player who should win this.
Yeah.
Those squads have other competitors in them, and they both picked Jorginho over the other players.
Nobody else. I know you like.
I'm going to talk about this man soon. Don't worry.
But nobody else in that Italy squad or that Chelsea squad is up at the same level as Jorginho in terms of like this Ballon d'Or ranking. Nobody else is up there.
Well, the other person was not mentioned for Kante, and then obviously in the
you're saying Mancini and Tuchel are both set.
Yeah.
Nobody else in that Italy squad is near it.
Donnarumma.
Well,
pretty close to it.
Disrespect.
He's the best goalkeeper in the world this year, and you can't deny that.
No, I can't deny that.
If there was a year for a goalkeeper to win it, it would be this year. Because I don't think there's been a goalkeeper for years that could compare to what Donnarumma is doing.
Neuer should have won it a few years ago.
That would be quite a few years ago.
He would have run it quite a few years ago, but then it comes back to who were the final three. Were they
Alisson was
players?
nowhere near it when Liverpool won the Champions League. But Donnarumma, there's a shout here because he was incredible for Italy with the defensive football they were playing. Exactly. He's one of the only reasons AC Milan were even in a title race because they're dreadful. I don't care what people say about Zlatan. Without Donnarumma, he would have been going nowhere with this AC Milan team because he was
really
60. Oh, it was, mate. What are you talking about?
That's like saying last year when Man City ran away with it.
It's not because no one was ever near Man City. AC Milan were top of the league midway through. When 2021 started, AC Milan were top of the league.
Inter Milan chased them down. AC Milan had a patch of not very good form. Man City, they started off like a jet and they just kept going. No one could stop them.
Yeah, there was no one who was ever close. They always had a barrier. Whereas AC Milan dropped the ball.
There was actually less points between Man City and Man United last year than there was between Inter and AC.
Yeah, but it's completely different scenarios.
Is it?
Yeah, of course it is.
100% it is.
Anthony, that's rubbish. That's rubbish.
That's exactly like comparing an attacking midfielder and a defensive midfielder together. They're completely different. They're dreadful. They're both midfielders. Both do different things.
What do you mean? What?
One specializes defensively, one specializes attacking.
We're talking about league position and points.
Yeah, and I'm making an analogy that you're saying that these aren't comparable. I'm saying it's like something that's not comparable. The league.
It's like comparing apples to oranges. It's comparing apples to oranges.
It's saying that Inter ran away with the league in Italy.
They didn't run away with the league in Italy.
They
got 95 points.
AC Milan dropped the ball.
AC Milan were top of the league.
They dropped the ball. That's different to Man City just staying on top of the league and Manchester United trying to chase them down.
Wild.
That's different.
It's actually wild.
To AC.
You know though, it would be if Manchester United were top of the league for a period where they were about 40 points in I think November, early December. If they'd kept that going to January, they would have been like Serie A in a proper title race.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
They didn't.
But AC Milan did until that point and then dropped it late.
Oh my God. There was more points between Inter and AC.
That doesn't matter. That's the end result. The journey was a full-on title race.
No.
The journey was a full-on title race.
I can't believe this, Anthony. I can't believe this.
I'm going to pull up.
Jackson, while he's doing that, why don't you give us some insight about Jean-Louis Donnarumma and how he's the best goalkeeper in the world?
Donnarumma is an incredible player. he in both of the teams he's played for, he's pivotal. There's he's
done it again.
I mean, let me
he's
just
an
jump,
essential player. Because in Italy, they wouldn't have won the Euros without him. It's as simple as that. They would not have won the Euros without him.
Agreed.
Let me jump in. Like 37 games unbeaten most of the time in those games. He was kept a clean sheet. He didn't get scored past very, very much in the Euros. He did get scored against a few times, but didn't get scored against that much during the Euros. He clutched the most tense penalty shootout I've ever seen in my life in the Euro final. He's basically the backbone of the defense for Italy.
Yeah.
Him and Spinazzola and now Di Lorenzo. I mean, obviously Spinazzola got injured in the semi-final, but they were them two, as well as the two leaders of the squad, the two godfathers, if you will, Bonucci and Chiellini. I mean, they were basically a defensive fortress for pretty much all of Italy's campaign.
There is a problem for Donnarumma. It's the lack of a Champions League pedigree to back up his claim for this season. I think that is key.
It is.
And I think, and I don't agree with Anthony on the domestic front, but in terms of your continental competition,
on that. So if we go to the Man City, Man United title race, okay, 86 versus 74 points, so a 12-point difference. They both lost the same amount of games. They both lost 6 games. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
If we look at the Serie A table,
how many did they win? How many did they draw? Because they could lose the same amount of games.
Milan lost 7 games. Inter lost 3 games all year.
Yeah, how many did?
And the points, 91 to 79.
How many games did Man United draw and win compared to Man City? Because they could lose the same amount of games, but Man United could have drawn more games than Man City.
It was 27 on 21, and then it was so 27 on 21 and 28 on 24. So there was only 1 game in it. 2 games in it. So
you've missed the point by reading out the stats again. You missed the point, Anthony. No. You've just read out the end stats, but you missed the point that was being made. Why have you done this?
There's only a couple. No.
Oh my god.
Look, anyway, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's a tangent. Tangential point.
It's absolutely irrelevant because of what he did in the Euros and
But that one. But
Jorginho didn't win the league either. So
he didn't win the league.
They're top of the league though at the end of the calendar year.
Yeah. So again, the league thing is irrelevant.
Sorry, we're
talking about the Italian players.
Yeah, but if you just go off that, like the problem with the trophy thing is let's talk about Messi and Ronaldo, right? Because I think this is a good way to sort of bring it in and discuss how important like a team trophy is for this discussion. Because Messi won an international trophy. That's incredible for Argentina, incredible for him. I don't think that should take him to a Ballon d'Or.
It's the only thing he had left, though, right? He's now pretty much cemented himself as the best player of all time. I don't think Ronaldo's there. Because I mean, you ask anybody if you said, "I'll pay you to sit down and watch one player," I wouldn't pick Ronaldo.
I wouldn't pick Messi or Ronaldo.
Well, that's a Chelsea. There's a Chelsea player coming up there. It's Didier Drogba, I reckon.
It is.
Yeah,
but he's not the best player of all time.
No, he's not.
He might be your favorite player. It's
different.
What you just mentioned there was subjective, really, because you can say, I'll pay you to sit down and watch one player, and
let's assume that. Let's assume you pick it based off who's objectively the best player you want to see.
It would be Lionel Messi.
It would be Messi. The best player you want to see, or the best player in your opinion, because there's two differences. Anyway.
Oh, Matt, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Oh, just like you were focusing on the wrong thing before.
I'll leave.
How it breaks down, though, is that I don't actually think he was even the most pivotal player for that push to that international trophy. He was good, but I don't think that's an international trophy that, considering where Barca were domestically and where they were in Europe in continental football, that it's actually like
I don't super.
It's not in his favor.
Argentina. because he was the top goal scorer and top assist maker as well.
But I mean, I'm looking at the fact that he didn't even score a goal in the final. Whereas Donnarumma saved penalties in the final. I don't know.
You got to look at that. It's not the final. It's the whole competition. You got to look at for this kind of thing. For an international tournament, you got to look at the whole competition.
I just think that there's not enough in it. I think that people want to give it to Messi because he finally broke the drought on international trophies.
Yeah.
But when you consider the overall picture, I don't think he actually...
He had a great year, though. 47 appearances. He got 38 goals and 12 assists.
But if we were basing it just off that sort of stats, Haaland or Lewandowski would win it over him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
if we broke it down just to like individual goals and appearances, there would still be other players ahead of him.
I also think it was a struggling Barcelona side, which maybe gives him more credit as well.
Yeah,
maybe that.
But there's only so far that argument can go.
He scored 92 goals back then. He was. They were the best team in the world.
Yeah. But there's only so far that argument can go because it's very speculative. It's like, if they were better, he'd score a hell of a lot more goals and definitely deserve this award. Yeah, but you play in the circumstances you're in.
It's like trying to measure intangibles.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this Ballon d'Or is. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to be based on facts. It's not going to be based on. He did well playing in a shit team. So
because people vote because it's a collective vote, right? Of I think is what players and managers or something like that. So if you look at if you say to me who performed the best in a struggling side this year, I'd say Messi because
it's not asked about who's performed the best in a struggling side.
Yeah, but you look at the amount of goals and assists he got, and you go, okay, there's more credit there because he had to put in more work to get those kind of numbers because he's getting the same numbers consistently every year without really a big drop off. And Barcelona have consistently gone down, which probably gives him a little bit more credit.
I'm probably not as far extreme as Matt. I do think it's relevant, but I think you've got a cap because in the end, you could justify giving it to him for any reason. Yeah. If we start speculating like that,
I personally,
you could say Manchester United is terrible, so Ronaldo scoring goals should get him the award. Like you could say that.
If Ronaldo was at Manchester United all year, and let's say Manchester United finished 6th or 8th or whatever, right? But he's bagged 50 goals. If it just hypothetically, right? If he goes and bags 50 goals and gets 20 assists in a 8th place Manchester United. Then you mean, well, okay, he's the best player in that squad, and the fact that he's able to do it by himself, and let's say because you look at Barcelona, nobody else was putting that kind of output in at Barcelona either. So to single-handedly do it, if you say, okay, Ronaldo doing it all by himself and nobody else is putting in any work, and he's still getting those numbers.
Well, you're talking about what you said before, a struggling Barcelona team. So Messi's going to be the only area of goals or the area of attack, really.
Yeah, that could be it. So it could be that he just benefits from being the focus of play. You could minus from his balance like that.
That's fair.
It's just like Ronaldo being the focus of play in Manchester United at the
moment. But here's the thing: it's like even if you said that, just the lack of an appearance in like the proper knockout rounds of the Champions League, like not really making it far. He doesn't have an opportunity to shine. Like Donnarumma's a lot like, but both Jorginho and Donnarumma benefit massively from turning up on the big occasions. And if Barcelona didn't get the chance to play the big occasions, like you can't go, if they made it to those big occasions, Messi would have done good. You just have to go, they didn't make it there. Messi can't, be credited for anything he might have done in those knockout stages.
Yeah.
So, I just think that this isn't a year for either of them. I think if you give it to Messi or Ronaldo, you're harping on about past glory too much for me.
I don't know. I personally, again, it's all opinion. I think if Lewandowski doesn't win it, which I think he should, because I think he really got robbed in 20, and he's carried on that form for 2 years. So if you win it, anyway.
Yeah, I would think that's fair. I think Messi, Lewandowski winning it is would be fair. I would accept that judgment as being based off facts of this year.
I wouldn't take Ronaldo because he absolutely does not deserve it. But I'd be more okay if Messi won it as well. I'd be okay with it because he kind of deserves it.
Yeah, I almost feel like for them the standards get dropped. They can have an average season and still win it. Like Messi won it in 2019 and he did not deserve that.
No, he didn't deserve that one.
He did not deserve that.
So he deserves it more this year than he did then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then
Well,
the standards drop, and the standards drop, and then they're still putting in the same kind of output as everyone else, which is maybe testament to them.
Well, if we're talking about players that we reckon should win it, and that's, I guess, the main focus of this, I'm not going to argue that Robert Lewandowski shouldn't win it because, if it's based on facts, like what Jackson and you were saying, he's performed the best out of everyone so far in this year, in the last 2 years as well. But the three guys that are in our backgrounds at the moment, I'd be happy if either three of them win it.
I'd be less happy if,
personally honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Donnarumma won't win it.
He's not going to win because it's an attacking bias.
Yeah.
If we're going to go, if we're going to go with what's actually going to happen, Lewandowski's going to win it. There's going to be no doubt he's going to win it because
I want Lewandowski to win. I think Messi will just.
I hope not.
No.
But here's the thing: even if Lewandowski won it, if Jorginho isn't second in the votes and Donnarumma in the top five,
maybe I'll go top
I will
five,
be very disappointed in that because that would be the proof of all sorts of biases for me that really plague the Ballon d'Or.
Attacking bias. I mean,
Jorginho and Lewandowski should be top two, and Donnarumma maybe like fourth.
But I mean, I agree. There's an attacking bias, but you look at like Modric won it.
Yeah,
that was pretty recent.
But that was strange. That one.
Modric was a rarity,
an outlier.
Virgil van Dijk coming second as well. That's a rarity. But if you keep looking back in the last, let's say, 8 to 10 years, the top three players are pretty much all attackers.
Well, no, it's just been Messi and Ronaldo.
And then there's always
which is a different bias in and of itself.
However, they were genuinely the two best players on Earth.
Yeah. Like, but that can no longer be said anymore. That cannot be said anymore. No. So it's time. If players, it's just about how you value different stats. I think people at the end of the day value goals and assists more than they would interceptions, progressive carries.
That's why they also do have like the best attacker, best midfielder, best defender as well, and best goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. They do have those awards as well. It's just not held to the same regard as the Ballon d'Or. Right. It's just it means nothing unless it's pretty meaningless.
I mean, like what Jackson mentioned before, people regard stats higher than others, and people are going to regard the goals and the assists higher than everything else because the goals and the assists are the exciting part of the game. I mean, the goals don't happen by themselves, and there's something that. If you see that it could be one goal that takes you from a relegation zone to a promotion. It could be one goal that takes you from being second place to winning the Premier League, like we've seen.
We talk about defenses winning leagues, and then we don't recognise that individual awards. What's up with that? Yeah. Like, look, I mean, I don't even think Ruben Dias deserved the
player of the year.
Player of the year.
No, he didn't.
But he was up there. He should be in that conversation, but I don't think he should win it. That was a strange one. Yeah, I think it's just because he got signed. They had the ability to show what City was like before he arrived and after he arrived.
He was
that sort of comparison.
He was in the top three, but he's not the player of the year for me.
No.
He's in the top three. Yeah, he's not the player of the year for me.
In the Premier League?
In the Premier League, yeah.
Who did you put above him, just out of curiosity?
Oh, well, you've got a couple of people I'd put above him. Specifically last year.
Yeah. Well, yes, specifically last year.
Well, let's look at who won the league last year.
I think it should have been. City. I think it should have been Bruno for me.
Bruno's a pretty good shout. Bruno's a pretty good shout. Yeah.
I think
that was an incredible season when he was still the heart and soul of that team. He really drove them. He was a key part of their unbeaten runaway. Like. You can't take it away from. This is one where it's important not to. Here's the problem with defenders. Ruben Dias didn't win that off of stats. He won it because a story was there about Man City were terrible before he arrived, and then they won the league after he arrived.
I don't know. He didn't win that off of stats necessarily. You look and see they did concede the least amount of goals.
Yeah, they did. But there's a lot of other players like Edison's an incredible goalkeeper. Yeah. And how much are you putting on Ruben Dias is but the problem is like Jorginho's got individual stats that prove his greatness.
Yeah.
I think that Defenders too
You
often don't
can-
get
you
judged
can-
for their stats. They get
you can
judged if
pull
there's
up-
a story
you can
there.
Pull up those stats for
Yeah.
Diaz,
Yeah.
but nobody does.
You could, and they'd be good, but nobody was rating him for that award because of those stats. Is my
Yeah.
problem.
And
The news,
like,
the media coverage is poor. It's like Van Dijk. Van Dijk had incredible stats. Like I think he almost went for a full calendar year without being dribbled past. It
Without
came in
being
like the
dribbled past,
Nations
yeah.
League. But
And then it
those
was
stats were,
somebody
you know,
fucking ridiculous
offhanded.
that did it as well.
Mhm.
Can't remember who it was.
If Liverpool hadn't won the Champions League and he still had those stats, he wouldn't even be in the conversation.
No.
well,
That's what happens to defenders. Messi can go without winning trophies, but still get considered because of the stats.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
defenders don't have the team trophies to back up their stats, they don't even get considered. Like if Donnarumma had have just
not won the Euros.
if he had not
wouldn't
won the
be in this
Euros,
conversation at
even
all.
if he saved all the penalties he did, but then England, Pickford
Yeah.
saved some, wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have mattered. He wouldn't even be in. He wouldn't even be considered. If Jorginho hadn't won the Champions League, he wouldn't even be in this conversation. Even if he won the Euros,
No,
if he
I
hadn't won
agree.
the Champions League, he wouldn't be in this conversation.
I agree
Even
with
if he
that.
took it Chelsea all the way to the final with the same stats,
Mhm.
but they just couldn't get over the line, he wouldn't even be considered.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's a
That's-
team bias. That's
that's-
another
yeah.
bias in the Ballon d'Or. Teams
It's-
over individuals.
It's every
Questionable.
other position, but an attacking position has to essentially work twice
Yeah,
as hard.
you've got to be an attacking
Yeah, keep-
player in a team trophy winning team
scoring
who's named
goals,
either Ronaldo
assists.
or Messi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, just
Well,
going back to what you
helps.
were talking about Ruben Diaz before. I mean, like Anthony said, Man City conceded the least amount of goals that season, but Ruben Diaz is just one piece of that back line.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got,
yeah,
you got
exactly.
Edison, you got Diaz, you got John Stones. Who was it? Kyle Walker, Cancelo. You had Mr. Mendy before his transfer
all right,
to Prison
Matt.
FC. Like there were players there. It's a team defensive effort. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to sit there for 90 minutes and be
To-
like,
to
Diaz.
play
You could
Yeah.
even go so far. You could even go so far, yeah, as to
Yeah.
say that because they're a possession-heavy team, Diaz has less work to do because they just hold the possession, so he doesn't actually have to do as much defending.
And if you sit there for 90
However,
minutes, are you going to
kind
say
of
that?
counter that?
Mhm. If you sit there for 90
To,
minutes,
to counter that,
oh my god, the
counter
internet's gone.
the internet. I think we're delayed. Once again, to counter that, that entire backline stayed the same except for Diaz. And then they
Yeah, that's
automatically
true.
became a better
That's true.
defensive unit. So
That's
so by keeping the entire backline the same goal, keep it same left and right back in Walker and Cancelo, and then Stones. The only difference was they at least less goals. They improved holistically in defense. I mean, anyway, but this isn't about.
It's not about the player of the year.
I
It's
do wanna
it's
ask a
about the
question.
Ballon
These
d'Or.
are our-
Let's link it
These
to the
are our
fact that
picks.
Diaz didn't win the Champions League, and then
No, he didn't.
so he's not even in this conversation, despite
But
being
as
the
I
best
think he-
player in the
I
Premier
think
League, a defender, not even in
Yeah,
the conversation.
Exactly. He's not even. Was he in the top 30, Jackson? I don't
I
recall. if he
think
was.
Yes, he
should
was.
be.
He was. Yeah.
He was, yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not going to get any votes.
No.
Yeah.
And,
He would be in the top 30. But actually, I do have a question.
Pause,
if I get to
pause.
that. I mean,
Pause. What's going on, Anthony?
pause. But hold the applause.
You're bad. You are
Yeah,
really
you're fucking
bad.
Cutting hard. I tried
Yeah.
to talk like 4 times there, and all I could hear was you starting to talk, and I was like, "Well, this fucking asshole's not letting me talk, man."
No,
I was just trying-
you're lagging like
No, I think
roboty
it's-
for me.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, you're
delayed.
bad.
I think it's delayed. So when
Leave it and join back in because it was. Oh,
Yeah.
we'll use Matt's recording. We'll use Matt's.
Yeah,
Are you
I
recording,
think
Matt?
Yeah, I'm recording.
whenever
Yeah, he's frozen
I
again.
started to
Yeah.
talk, you would start to talk, and then we'd both stop it and start at the same time.
Yeah.
So
'Cause I
Anthony,
was
your
trying-
screen is frozen for me half the time right now. Yeah, he was terrible. That was internet problems like
I
hell.
was trying to talk.
Yeah, that was not lining up very well at all. We might have to cut back a little bit because that
Yeah.
comes in a bit early for him. So hold on, I'll pause the timer. What's happening there? His internet's really gone. You were fine. Like I knew it wasn't me because you were good.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself, fuck, this arsehole's not letting me talk, man. Like, I'm trying to fucking talk.
Okay, how are we looking?
All right, you look all right, but yeah, I don't know. The problem now is that it happened a bit. It's been happening for like a good minute of that. I was hoping it would pass, and it did not pass.
Okay, I do know exactly where I was going to start off because I have a question.
You just start off, and we'll connect it wherever it works. We'll connect it. Whatever you want to go on about, start.
Yeah, I can work with it.
Okay, do you want me to count you in?
Yeah, sure.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so I do have a question. I mean, let's get off the topic of Ruben Diaz because I think we all agree that it's pretty criminal that he wasn't in contention, at least a bit higher anyway. These were our picks. You got GG, I've got Lua, Matt, you've got yep. Realistically, I know this is who we want to win. Who do we actually think is going to win though? Because I think that's a whole different conversation, right? Because Jackson, do you actually believe that GG will win it?
I want him to win.
Yeah.
But I think the biases mean he won't be considered like he should be.
Yeah, that's
so at the end of the day, but that would just be Lua for me. If the biases are in place, it will just end up being Lua. It shouldn't be that, simple.
See, I don't know. I just
it should not be. That's not a dig against Lua. I hate that. I hate that.
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I just think if you look at it holistically, I think everybody's going to fucking vote for Messi because he won the international trophy as much as this man deserves it.
Yeah, this man right here, the one you put.
Let me say that
Jorginho is going to win, Matt.
Like Jackson was saying before, if there was no attacking bias, because there is an attacking bias, because of that attacking bias is there, Lewandowski is going to win this year. But if there's no attacking bias, I back
it
Jorginho.
Should be Jorginho.
I back Jorginho.
But let me say this then. I'll ask each of us can go have a go. I'm going to ask if your player wasn't to win it, and you had to pick one of the other person's players to win it, who would it be? I'll start with you, Matt.
Well,
so if Jorginho didn't win it, would it be Donnarumma for you or Lewandowski?
Well, I pretty much already answered that. If it's the bias, if the bias is still in place.
Well, who do you think deserves? Assume who do you deserve? So going off the realistic, who do you think deserves to win it?
Deserves to win it?
Out of the other two players. So if Jorginho can't, Lua or Donnarumma?
Yeah, look, this is actually a hard decision because you're comparing two players that play two different roles.
Yeah, but that's the difficulty of the Ballon d'Or. That's what we're demanding the Ballon d'Or to do, to be able to look at different positions and judge them balanced. So let's put ourselves to the test.
I'm going to get some slack for this, and I think you guys already know who I'm going to pick as I say that. But I think Donnarumma should get it then. You guys are probably going to give me some slack for it, but that's who I reckon.
No, that's fine. Anthony deserve to win on the true balance of things. If all positions were considered equal, if Lewandowski, disappears off the face of the earth, runs away to Jurassic Park
with his wife.
Donnarumma or Jorginho?
I really wouldn't give it to Donnarumma. I really wouldn't.
Makes it sad.
Jorginho for sure. Actually.
Okay.
I don't actually think there's an argument for that one over those two. I think if Lewandowski or Messi doesn't win it, which is really unlikely, the Champions League makes a massive difference.
It does. It does. That is to Donnarumma's fault. It is to Donnarumma's fault.
That being said, right? Chelsea didn't do great in the Prem last year, though.
This year?
What are you talking about? Where did Chelsea finish last year?
In this calendar year,
we finished in the top four, and then this calendar year we're currently leading.
No, in comparison to GG, second versus fourth.
That's not. I wouldn't say that actually is a great way to judge it because the table where they finish in the table is greatly shaped by their form from last year. What you'd base it on is how many points each Premier League team has gotten in 2021, and Chelsea are top two.
I'm still going for Jorginho. I'm still going for Jorginho.
But yeah, my guess would be top top of the league clear.
Yeah, I still go Jorginho. I just don't think.
Okay, I think I've got the hardest decision because unlike you just wouldn't give it to Donnarumma, and Matt just doesn't want to give it to a striker. I actually really rate both of the options I got here. I could give it to either and feel really happy. It's probably going to be Jorginho for me though, over Lewandowski. Yeah.
Why?
Just the consistency. The stats speaks for themselves for me. He's essential for Chelsea in two different competitions and for Italy at the Euros in 2020. The difference is Lewandowski's didn't get the chance to prove what he can do for Poland deeper in the competition. Bayern didn't, it's just not the same for Bayern because they got knocked out by PSG in the Champions League.
That sounds pretty right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was in the quarterfinals. They didn't get a chance to go. I don't know. For me, I really think a Ballon d'Or has to take into account when you step up to the big occasions. And for me, that's Jorginho massively because he had the chance to prove himself and be as consistent as he always is on the big stage, on the big occasions. But even on the stats themselves, I think that I have to prove the fact that anyone, even Lewandowski, would not score goals in a team where people like Jorginho aren't doing this kind of work. That's what I have to rate him very highly.
That's what I was trying to allude to at the start, but I didn't really describe.
No matter what a striker does, Jorginho can still do the work he does as consistently. But without Jorginho, the player in front of him would be a lot worse off without a player like Jorginho doing the work he does.
That's what I was trying to allude to with Poland.
I think a forward's dependent on a midfielder like Jorginho. Jorginho is dependent on nobody. He gets his job done.
That being said, Matt, Poland wouldn't even they would be nowhere near the World Cup without Lewandowski, though.
Yeah, that's the Barcelona Messi argument again, isn't it? It's look at it. If he was out of France, imagine what they'd do. Yeah.
But he's single-handedly saving Poland.
But Zlatan would probably claim the Ballon d'Or based off, saving AC Milan and Sweden.
He's been saving Sweden for years.
Yeah,
that's true. Versus that Italy project, though, where everyone is doing their part. Not everybody is doing their part in Poland. Different. It's just a different dynamic, right?
Yeah, this is the thing. If you were going to treat the Ballon d'Or right, you'd balance all these things. You'd recognize that you wouldn't just go, well, that player won the most team trophies or had the most goals, we'll just give it to them.
And Lewandowski won three team trophies this year as well.
Yeah.
So, well, 2 actually. Sorry, four, because he won 2 of the Super Cup. So,
the day the Club World Cup determines the Ballon d'Or is the day I neck myself on the street.
Even Tottenham have won silverware.
Just
the Audi Cup.
Oh, yeah, all right. Now he's being.
Now you're taking the piss.
Now you're taking the piss.
Now you're taking the piss.
Well,
to go back to what you said before, Jackson, Bayern Munich did get knocked out by PSG in the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
but it was away. It was on away goals, and then so they didn't get through. Mm-hmm. But you would think that Bayern team probably would have beaten that City team.
Really.
I would have thought
City were 4 goals over 1 for PSG, and
they really dealt PSG. They were close games though. That's what you don't really get from the aggregate. They were very close games. Man City didn't smash them 3-0 in one game.
2-0, 2-1 and 2-0. I've got it in front of me.
It was never like a blowout neither game.
No. And the PSG Bayern Munich game was 3-2 the first game, and then 1-0 the second game.
Yeah.
Bayern got really unlucky, but
they did.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I think Messi's probably just going to win it. To be honest, I think it's really hard to look past everybody voting for Messi.
I don't think so.
That's going to be so sad. It's going to be sad if it happens.
I don't think it should happen. But I'm not for it. I just don't think it's not. I think it's the most likely scenario.
All right, then I'm going to name a top 5. Would this be agreeable to people?
Yeah,
I would say
top 5. Let's do
Jorginho 1.
Yep.
Lewandowski 2. Interchangeable. Interchangeable.
Let's not put
numbers. Not numbers. Just put top 5. Just put top 5. Because then we're going to be sitting here arguing about the places.
Let's do a top 5.
Lewandowski.
Not going to agree with us.
Lewandowski. Jorginho. Donnarumma. Messi.
and
Ronaldo's not in my top
And
5. It
Haaland.
Haaland.
and Erling Haaland. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough for Haaland. He's been great.
If you're gonna compare two attackers together, which Ballon d'Or does, you look at Haaland's goals, international and domestic, compared to Ronaldo's
but for me,
goals.
it's not just the goals; it's the way, like
The way
Haaland creates.
The way they
should be recognised in its own way.
Did you not say this morning? Did you not say this morning in the DM? What did you say about Dortmund's goals?
Oh, they're false advertising, but like,
yeah,
you should know that more than anyone. Yeah,
I know. Man City have robbed us blind. Man City really did us dirty here.
Secret agent. He's a sleeper agent, absolutely, from Man City youth. But I just think that Haaland's goal record should get him this kind of respect. I don't know. Whereas Haaland, I'm less impressed by Haaland's goal scoring record.
All right, let me put this to you, boys. Why doesn't Harry Kane get a really good shout? Final of the Euros, top scorer,
golden boot
in the Premier League, most assists in the Premier League.
How's his performance at the start of this year, though? Because we're taking that.
It's been
very
bad.
He scored one goal in the Premier League.
But he was like not bad.
It's not
not bad.
He scored one goal against Newcastle.
It's not to scratch. I will admit. However,
you can't. It's the same reason I don't put Salah in this conversation. Salah had a great half of the year. This half of the year, Harry Kane had a great first half of the year.
Yeah.
But the players we're talking about have been consistently really good. I look for that consistency. Even if it's why Dimitri Payet didn't win the 2016 Ballon d'Or, all right? If it was he was the best player in the world for 2 months, is that good enough? It's not. No, it's not good enough. You've got to be consistent over the year. It's what I expect.
Like we've been saying before, I know I've been mentioning this a lot, like the attacking bias, taking bias, but I want to bring up that the figure that we used in last video, right, Jackson and Anthony as well. So if we're comparing Haaland and Ronaldo for this top spot in the five, so the last spot in the 5, we've got Haaland 10 appearances for Norway, 7 goals, 1 assist, so 0.7 goals a game. Ronaldo, 15 appearances for Portugal, so 5 more, 10 goals, 2 assists, so 0.67%. 0.67% goals per game, right? Then you look at their club records. You look at Borussia Dortmund, 41 appearances, 41 goals, 10 assists, a goal a game. Look at Ronaldo, 44 appearances, 36 goals, 5 assists, 0.82 goals per game for Juventus. I mean, I don't like comparing attacking players by goals. I mean, you guys have heard it for a while, but if we're gonna pick between these two, we're gonna do it the way that the Ballon d'Or is gonna do it. And by those stats there, and the way that Haaland injects himself into the team, into teams, especially into Norway, it's Haaland over Ronaldo in the top 5.
I will say it's not very they're not far off.
They're not far off.
I think Ronaldo's sort of is punching his way to he's 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
If you had to rank
somebody, it feels like we're missing somebody.
It's
Mbappe, I'm not considering in this.
No, Kylian Mbappe is
Karim Benzema. I'm not considering in this.
Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland were supposed to be, the undercards for Messi and Ronaldo, and then to eventually take over them as being the top 2 rivalries. But Kylian Mbappe, you look at him. He hasn't had the best season for France this year. I mean, after he won the 2018 World Cup, he was supposed to be the next big thing. He's won everything. He's going to rise up to be one of the best players in the game, and he's plateaued off completely.
Look, I'm the first person to say that Mbappe is part of not everything is cracked up to be. But 47 appearances, 42 goals, and 11 assists is fucking incredible.
It's good.
Let's open up his international record as well.
The whole France team was not
that whole
great.
France team is shithouse.
Putting that on him just because he missed that penalty would be rough.
I'm not saying he's missed his penalty, but I'm saying 14 appearances, 4 goals. That's all I'm going to say for an attacking player. But
France didn't have a good Euros either.
No, so it's rough. It's. I just don't really rate. If Mbappe had that record in the Premier League or the Bundesliga or La Liga, I would value it way more. I feel
PSG is
They
a
didn't even win the
farmers
league
league.
last year, though. They didn't even
No,
win the
they
league
didn't
last
even
year.
win it.
You
They
can't
didn't
say
even
that.
win the league.
No.
You can't.
Well,
I absolutely hate that. I absolutely hate that. And you can tell. You can tell the people that don't watch league on much, right? You can tell. You can tell. You can tell.
Wow, you're
Because
really
the games
triggered over
it is-
that,
it is-
aren't you?
I am triggered about that actually because I think it's incredibly disrespectful to France because there is more pound for pound. There's more competition in France than Spain.
God.
1,000,000%. Pound for pound, there's more competition.
That's
Mate, just stop.
fair.
Just
That's
stop. Just
not
stop.
quite
Just
it,
stop.
though, is it?
Just stop.
More
Just
pound
stop.
for pound, more
Just
competition
stop.
than in
Just
Germany.
stop.
If you're calling
No,
France,
I disagree on
No.
Germany. I disagree on Germany.
No.
Germany is
No.
very competitive, surprisingly.
Germany is,
But
yeah.
PSG didn't even win the league last year.
yeah, but that was because they were not good.
Mm.
I think France is a better league than Italy as well.
Nah, Italy's more competitive than France, easily.
At the top of the table, yeah.
Yeah,
But
far at the top.
no.
But here's the thing: the only one I might give you is La
Milan.
Liga because I'm really like La Liga's pretty average for
especially without Messi and Ronaldo. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But,
poor.
no,
but won't agree with you
I-
on the others. No,
Bundesliga is a two-team league.
no, it's a one-team league.
Yeah.
No, Dortmund push them.
Dortmund
not
give
well.
a fake title
fake
race. Like,
push,
oh my
yeah,
god,
fake
we're in
push,
this.
However-
We're so close.
However, in Ligue 1, it's especially last year, it was tough to tell between PSG, Marseille,
Yeah,
Lyon.
that was not because everyone
Monaco
else
won it a
pushed
few
up.
years
It was
ago.
because they pushed down. I didn't
Mm.
say that. It's like Inter didn't. I mean, Inter probably won it a bit just because Juventus was that bad.
But
more
it's
than
all
anything.
relative, right? So
Yeah.
you could say the exact same thing about the Premier League nearly.
Yeah, but the difference being is that we've stated this in terms of competition,
Mhm.
which I don't think is the right term to judge league on. It's about the quality of football, which is not good. But
How you don't watch
Oh,
enough League One, though.
Apparently that's what it comes down to, Jackson. We just don't watch enough.
the quality of football is nowhere near as good. It's as simple as
So
that for
would you
me.
say that
I
you
think
just-
the competition's tough because you could say the championship is competitive, but what is that? Does that mean the players should be considered for the Ballon d'Or?
I really just don't like the term Farmers League, right? Because if you call, they didn't win the league last year. You can't call it Farmers League.
They only lost by 1 point. I've got the ladder up.
But
I've got the ladder
they
up
still
in
didn't
front of
win,
me
though.
where they
But-
finished.
Celtic didn't win the SPL, but that's just because they turned terrible. Doesn't suddenly mean it's a quality league.
Mm.
But PSG weren't terrible. That's what I'm saying.
No,
They
weren't
only
good.
lost by
They
1
weren't
point.
good. Yeah, but they weren't good.
How many points was it,
Why are you judging by the end of? You did this with the Serie A table as well. You judge it by the end and not by the actual journey itself. In that PSG should have won this season.
Well,
Absolutely should have won. But
How many points
didn't
they
the
end
end? It was only early 80s. I think the
Yeah.
points ended. They were all teams in the early 80s.
PSG finished 82. Lille, who won the league, finished 83, and Monaco finished 78.
You know, Leicester won. So I'll put this in perspective. Leicester won the Premier League in 2016 with about the same number of points. I think like 81, 82 points.
Mhm.
That would have only won them the league in like 2 or 3 other seasons of that decade.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a good team doesn't win the league on 80 points. When Man City did it, so I think they actually finished the season with what? Mid-high 80s last season.
84.
Yeah, it was.
Roughly,
That's
yeah.
not impressive. That's not actually all that
86,
impressive. It was because
86.
everyone else was terrible that they won it with that
Mm.
points tally.
Well,
Like it's kind of rough to go, well, they didn't win the league, so everyone else must have been really good when they weren't up to their usual standard as a team.
I'm just jumping back to the previous year through League One, and PSG they won what previous league, 68 points to win the league.
That's
Yeah,
not
and
a good.
then-
That's
and
not a
then-
sign
and
of
then
quality. Jesus.
Marseille, who's second, 56, and then Toulouse, who finished 20th, 13 points. So, like 68 points to win the league.
Is that real?
Yeah, right in front of me. I can flash up on the screen if you like. This is final standings of the league table from the 2019 to 2020 season.
That was COVID, Matt. They only
Matt,
played 27 games.
COVID.
Well, let's jump back further.
Can we go to another year, please?
91 points the year before.
Okay, 91 points the year before. I was about to say, that was blowing my mind. That was absolutely blowing my mind.
Or something.
That was like crazy that. I was very confused by that. I was like, how many games did they lose?
Well, they lost like 2 or 3 games, I think.
Jesus Christ.
2016, 2017, Monaco won with 95 points.
Yeah, there you go. If Little had a won with like 90 plus points, I would absolutely agree with you, Anthony. That's a big occasion for the French league, but it wasn't that personally. But
I just really don't like the term Farmers Leagues. It's really disrespectful. I mean,
when did the Hungarians get so sensitive about these sort of issues? That's a bit crazy.
Back again, one league back 2015, 2016. PSG 96 points.
Yeah, okay.
First, Lyon second, 65 points.
That is because PSG were unfucking stoppable.
That's true.
With Zlatan and Cavani.
But they have been unstoppable most seasons for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
we've got off track a little bit, everyone.
We've got off track.
So we decided to have a chat about Farmers League, but we've made our point about the Ballon d'Or. We've got not that much time to the votes are tallied and the award gets given out. We'll back our lads in the days to come and the weeks to come and hope they can get a result here. No Messi, no Ronaldo. Let's see a new winner, somebody who truly deserves it. Let's see it happen, lads. We hope you all enjoyed watching it.
Nah, you're capping, Matt. We can both agree you're capping.
Shush.
I'm
shushing you.
We hope everyone enjoyed watching. Join us next time when I'm sure the next video will be the podcast, but we hope you guys enjoyed. Let's see how the Ballon d'Or pans out. I'm sure we'll have a review video on it, and we'll see you all later.
Peace.